Their destination, Cape Town. And many an English sea dog could have envied George Hinchcliffe's beard as he signed the official documents prior to departure. For this was to be no leisurely trip with time no object. This to be a record-breaking run. But Hinchcliffe knew. Twice before he had made this journey. Already he held the record for the run, 21 days, 19 hours, 45 minutes. And as he weaved his way through the friendly traffic, one wonders what he was thinking. For this run was to be faster still. A more powerful car this time, a new car, the 4-liter Humber Supersnipe, a car designed for Britain's customers abroad, and this run was to prove its power. And as the streets of outer London went flicking past Hinchcliffe's camera, one wonders what his crew were thinking. Like him, they were hardy Yorkshiremen, but to Arthur Longman and Robbie Walshaw, this was to be a new type of motoring, and the road ahead would certainly call for all their North Country courage and stubborn purpose. Across the Kentish Downs lies Lymm Aerodrome, the first objective. A childishly easy run, a prelude, almost a mockery. And there the car was driven aboard the big air freighter for the quick trip across the channel. And so, to France. But at Le Touquet came a minor setback. Maybe it was the Hinchcliffe beard that raised doubts in his mind, but the customs official was very curious, despite the aid of a chanter. And soon winter was left behind for the sunny shores of the Mediterranean. But over that warm horizon lay the proving ground. Africa, the largest continent, the dark continent, to be crossed from north to south along the 9,000 miles of desert and jungle track and mountain pass which is called the Hogger route. The Sahara, over 2,000 miles of thirsty wasteland. Across the Tropic of Cancer, the scrubland, and into the eternal jungles of the equator. Easting across the continent, where even the place names weave their own magic. The Rhodesias, and into the great territory of the Union. The hard way to the Cape of Good Hope. From Algiers, the roads are good and fast, and the coastal strip could well be the country of southern France across the sea. But soon the road climbs up into the great range of the Atlas Mountains, which stand as the northern sentinels to the dark continent. And here a landslide caused an early and unexpected delay. But there's no mistaking this, as the modern mount sweeps past a transport that has served man since Babylon and before. The road fades, the tufts of camel grass grow more sparse, and this is the Sahara. wheel tracks in the sand, an occasional pile of stones. These are the signposts for the next 2,000 miles. But even those wheel tracks are themselves a snare. Where the crust of the sand is broken, the wheels of a car will sink, and Hinchcliffe and his two companions kept the tires of the Humber well clear of other tracks. The car must be kept moving and moving fast, and in the glare and dust and shimmering heat, the man at the wheel must concentrate 100%. But as the travelers press on into the wilderness, the desert strikes back. The crusted sand softens, and the wheels spin uselessly in this arid quagmire. Inevitably, this is the result. Not once, but many, many times. And then out come the rolls of wire sand mats. But once the car has stopped axle deep, digging and jacking are the only way to get free. The sharp sand cuts the skin, gets behind the fingernails, pricks the eyes. The sun burns down, the minutes tick by, the water's getting short, and the nearest human being is hundreds of miles away. Only the rocks, as old as time, break the horizon. At last, the treacherous sand hardens again, and here the French authorities have marked the trail with tall steel posts, comfortably solid in this wilderness of mirages. The miles go flicking by, but not for long. Less than 100 miles after the oasis at Tamanrasset, a flying stone pierces a petrol tank. Out comes the equipment. They carry 45 gallons of fuel, 12 of water. It's nearly 500 miles to the next well, and Hinchcliffe makes a bold decision. The water is thrown away. The fuel from the damaged tank is drained off into the water tank, and the tank is repaired. But the cruelty of the desert softens with the sunset, and 75 hours after leaving Algiers, the Sahara had been crossed. Quickly now, the vegetation thickens. Camel grass, thorn trees, larger villages closer together. Here it rains. It's an event when it does, but a motor car is an event too. And when Hinchcliffe saw this mud, his heart fairly leapt. But the blessing of water already provided some tricky hazards. At least in these temperatures, it doesn't take long to dry the engine off. French Equatorial Africa, the Lake Chad territory, and the first of the 17 primitive ferries which had to be negotiated. This is a relatively quick one, but even so, to men fighting both nature and the clock, delays like this were maddening. Hinchcliffe used the time to good purpose with his camera. Getting a car aboard contrivances like this called for a lot of skill, but the Humber was designed with lots of clearance for just such emergencies. Horsepower may be the key to the white man's world. Down here, it's manpower, black manpower. Now tall elephant grass presses to the very edge of the track, and almost anything is liable to step out into the road. Here the party were joined by a platoon of sepoys, and these chaps know too the hardships the forests hold in store. Ah, Dr. Hinchcliffe, I presume. But even this modern ferry had its problems. What's get a move on, chum, in the local language? And what's this, bulldozing the opposition? Ah, a little well-placed leverage provides the answer to that one. And so, on again, south from the Congo, and in good heart despite it all. The modern African is rapidly becoming transport-minded, and these British bicycles were a welcome reminder of home. Good progress was made along some of these dirt roads, and the speeding car drew a lot of delighted attention from local hikers. As a proving ground, Africa certainly offers a wide variety of tests. For miles on end, The way was deep in floodwater, and since the surface here consisted largely of tree trunks, the road was literally floating. Narrow streams are roughly bridged with planks, and spares are left hard by in case the original ones are washed away. Food during this trip consisted mainly of stuff out of tins, but in this sort of country, there's certainly no need to suffer a shortage of fruit. And now the forest grows thicker yet. The track tunnels its way through the thick vegetation, and it was even necessary to use the headlights at high noon. The constant variation from steamy darkness to brilliant light played tricks with tired eyes, and to men who had been traveling day and night for 8 days now, the effort of concentration became an ordeal in itself. By now, the party were barely holding Hinchcliffe's schedule for the route. They had covered 7,000 miles. There were still more than 3,000 miles to go to their destination, and the need to make haste on this fantastic journey was uppermost in their tired minds. But time stands still in Equatorial Africa, and George Hinchcliffe knows the difference between impatience and determination. With 40 natives plying paddle and pole from the dugout canoes which support this ferry, here was a moment for relaxation. In accordance with tradition, the Humber carried presents for the native folk, and a few brightly colored scarves were as successful with the men of fashion as with the ladies. Arthur Longman, however, sees this break the other way. On then they pressed, southeastwards from the Congo, sometimes at speed, sometimes with desperate delays. Dirty, unshaven, their baggy tropical shirts clinging to their skins, on through the endless miles of steaming forest. At last, the frontier they longed to see, the turning point of their adventure. From now on, conditions should be easier. But 80 miles an hour in northern Rhodesia certainly raises the dust, and engines as well as men have to breathe to keep going. Andola in the copper belt meant civilization, good service for car and crew, and relief from the pressing heat of the equator. These roads may not be highways by normal standards, but the twin-tarred strips are fine as long as you can stay on them. And now the signposts bear names that ring in history. The travelers of bygone years struggled here to pave the way, and the territory itself is their memorial. Now it was all out on the final lap. Regardless of what the car had conquered and endured in miles passed by, now the call was speed, and 90 miles an hour was held whenever the road was straight enough. The final mountain range, the final pass lofting to 3,000 feet to John country. the rich, vast landscapes of the Union of South Africa, smiling a welcome to the final 1,300 miles of tarred road from Beitbridge. And then the vineyards and the shadow and the sunlight, and scanning the broken skyline for that last great landmark. And this was their journey's end. At Shelf House in Cape Town, the timekeepers were waiting. Their verdict, 13 days, 9 hours, and 6 minutes for the 10,500 miles from London to Cape Town. A new record,